ترک دنیا هر کی کرد از زهد خویش بیش آید پیش او دنیا و پیش. As individuals who look at Mawlana as a spiritual figure within our religion, we should go by the name and call him by that which he was known as. And famously, he was and is still known as Mawlana, or Mawlana Jalaluddin, the great poet and scholar. Ustad Firaydun Mujaddidi. He once told me that the Mathnawi of Mawlana has two famous themes that are continuously reiterated within the poetry of Mawlana. So what are those two famous themes? He says, nafs and ishq. These are the two famous themes Mawlana continuously writes about. The nafs meaning the carnal desires within, and ishq. Ishq meaning the love an individual has for the Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So today's poem will focus on the first theme we mentioned, which is nafs. What does Mawlana say? He says in his Mathnawi, he says, ترک دنیا هر کی کرد از زهد خویش بیش آید پیش او دنیا و پیش. He says, whoever abandons or denounces the world on their own accord, whoever just detaches themselves, takes a few steps back, abandons those materialistic gains of the world, will eventually chase that individual with more and more. Where is he getting this from? He's getting this from the famous hadith that is mentioned in the Sunan of Imam Ibn Majah rahmatullahi alayh. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says, whoever makes the dunya their main purpose, Allah will disperse that individual's matters and affairs. And he continues and he says, Allah will place poverty before them. Now the commentators of hadith, they speak in respect to poverty here. They say this is talking about poverty of the heart. They will never be content. If what? If a person puts dunya, this world, as their number one priority. But now the exact opposite, the contrasting example. What does he say? Whoever makes the hereafter their main priority and their niyyah and their intention to what they want to work towards, Allah will gather that individual's matters and affairs. Meaning, he continues, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Allah will place richness in that individual's heart. And this is the part that Mawlana focuses his poem on. He says, وَأَتَتْهُ الدُّنْيَا وَهِيَ رَاغِمَةٌ. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says that the dunya will begin to chase this individual. Meaning that thing the individual renounced, that same thing will begin to chase that individual. This is where Mawlana gets this poem of his from. ترک دنیا هر کی کرد از زهد خویش بیش آید پیش او دنیا و پیش. He continues in another part of the Mathnawi, احتماها بر دواها سرور است زان که خاریدن فزونی گر است احتما اصل دوا آمد یقین احتما کن قوت جان را ببین. He says detachment or abstinence is the best of medications. Detachment is the best of medicines. Then he continues, he gives the analogy of scratching a wound or a gash, or scratching something that is causing an itch to that individual's body. The more we scratch that area, the more we will be at a state of unease and at a state of discomfort. Like so, he says, the more we chase the dunya, this is why he's making the comparison to a gash or a wound. The more we chase this dunya, the more at a state of discomfort we will be in. Then he goes and he says, ihtima asli dawa amad yaqeen. Abstinence is the original medication. Demonstrated and acted upon and used by the many greats of the past. And there's certainty in this. Then he goes and he says, ihtima kun quwwati jan ra bibin. He says, show abstinence. Detach yourself and you will be shown and you will see the power or the strength of this soul Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instilled within our bodies. The true potential of this soul will be seen in a state of abstinence and detachment. So sometimes, my respected brothers and sisters, if we're at a state of discontentment or at a state of unease, We have to just stop, reassess ourselves, see what things we have prioritized in this dunya. What type of attachments do we have? No one is saying that we should completely ignore the dunya. That's not what a Muslim does. The Muslim works for both, but obviously the priority should be given to the life that is permanent and infinite, being the hereafter. Prioritizing, predicating every action, every dollar earned for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And wallahi al-azim, my brothers and sisters, will speak about this more in the future, the amount of reward there is for an individual who goes out and works for the sake of bringing nourishment and sustenance for their family. Some narrations mention that this individual will receive the reward of a shaheed, as Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayhi mentions in his Ihya. So the beautiful thing is that all these things we do on a daily basis, if they are done with the correct intention, there is plenty of reward and an enormous amount of ajr and thawab behind it. But it all depends on our priorities and our intention.